Hey, what's up, family? It's me, your girl Melissa D, aka Coach Mel, doing our check in with you guys. And I want to make sure that you are locked in on the resources in our 5 commitments for the group in terms of community, accountability, all of those things to make sure you're showing up activated. Okay. All about activated living, using our voices, being seen and being heard. And so, I had to come on here, as I always do, in full transparency. And this topic, I've been posting topics about money and funding and growing your business. And the reality is that's always been a very hard topic for me. And I never really talked about it publicly until recently of the financial ups and downs I've experienced on my roller coaster entrepreneurial journey. It was definitely not linear. It was not a straight path. It was not an overnight success. It has been a ride. Has been and still is, depending on the day. But here's what I learned. If I had to tell you, people say, Mel, how did you get here? And everything that has happened was tied to how I handled an emotion. Everything that has happened to me and for me in relation to my business and in life was tied to how I handled, hear me, how I handled the emotion, not how the emotion handled me. Okay, this is very critical. This is one of those stream of consciousness mindset talks I'm going to have with you as your coach. It's one of those talks that we don't have, and because it's hard. Money, it's personal. Emotions are personal. And so it's really important that we talk about the hard things. It's easy to talk about the things that everyone else is talking about, but what coaches, gurus, and experts are really going to deal with the negative stuff in your head. And so there's a lot of negative self talk that are rooted in negative emotions that are learned behaviors. Okay. And these emotions may come from a place of a past failure and us not trusting ourselves and our own instinct, our own understanding, or even our own revelation. I do go into a lot of spiritual development here in the group, from the mindset of being a believer and a Christian, and some of you may or may not be. But whatever your beliefs, understand this. You must have a strategy for emotional management. And I want to talk about you're too emotional when it comes to your business, and we need to navigate emotional triggers in entrepreneurship. I'm not telling you something I read or saw in someone else's coaching group. This hit your girl personally, okay? Uh tell you a little bit more about my story. It's like an onion. I'm going to peel it back a little bit, okay? Um I have had two corporate leaps where let me say this. I've had one corporate leap where I completely left and worked in entrepreneurship for 3 years. And then I had an attempted corporate leap where I went to quit and ended up negotiating, okay, staying and making my job potentially like a client and working with them part time. And so anything you can imagine in terms of emotions, I've gone through the high highs, the guilt of having money that I'd never had before from my own hand and my own business, not from a job. And so there's this emotion of, do I trust myself with this amount of money? How do I hire? And I'm scared to turn over control. Um, am I handling it responsibly and all of that, because I've had bad money mistakes in the past, right? I've had that. But then I've had the opposite, the flip side of that, of the low lows, the guilt of, wow, did I make the right decision? Did I put myself in a situation? Is this going to be consistent enough to take care of myself and my household? All of that, and I've seen it. There is a such thing called entrepreneur depression. And I believe it comes from us not opening up. Everyone's being flashy and everyone looks like they're succeeding, but no one's telling the truth because here's what really happens, especially if you're service based. I don't know so much, I can't speak for like those who are product based, but I know for me and what I've experienced in my circle of entrepreneur and coach friends, okay, is that um money and emotion go hand in hand. Okay, people get real personal and touchy feely about money, especially your money, and especially if you're used to having it on, at that bi-weekly check on the first and the 15th of the month, and your business is not set up that way, where I have contracts that are annual and I have to understand how to budget that on a monthly basis. I may have contracts that are monthly and recurring. So it's to stagger the business. That wasn't always the case. There was a time when I had money coming all at one time, and it was not set up in such a way to cover me if someone canceled, if an emergency, if contingencies happen. And I've been there. I have been there. Now, your emotional trigger may not be tied to money, but it could be. I've said this. I was saying this in a group I taught about being anointed for entrepreneurship, and it's for some of us, it is the fear that we actually might succeed, and now we have to deliver. Like, I can't back out, and it's like, will I deliver well? Will they be happy with my product or my service? Now I cannot hide anymore. So that could be the trigger for some of you. But either way, I'm coming to you to call out the thing that no one else is talking about, but we're all dealing with it in one way or another. And that's just the reality. Okay. So if you do me a favor, if you're watching this live, do hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. If activation coaching has like blessed you and opened your mind in any way, don't be stingy. Absolutely click that invite button. Invite 2 or 3 people to come on this journey with us. I want to activate the goal. The mission is activating 1,000. Or in my video last week, y'all told me 10,000. I guess I wasn't reaching high enough. So I'm going to reach for that 10,000, but it's going to take you sharing this content. And so before I move on with my day, I thought it was really important to address this topic because I'm like, I can't be the only one. I know I'm not the only one. I was confiding in a dear friend about even the emotion of like there's levels, and every elevation, every new level requires a new set of emotional skills, emotional management skills. Okay. Because we're not robots. Some of us handle emotions better than others, but for me, I was always labeled the one in my family, you're so emotional. I'm passionate. Okay, y'all know me by now. I'm just passionate. So I get excited, or sometimes I feel deeply and I have to emote. I have to explain what's going on. Sometimes I may have to retreat. And so here's the danger in that though, is that on moments when I may be scared or I have a tough decision to make, and the fear creeps in, or sadness creeps in, or doubt creeps in the past, it will paralyze me on making decisions. Okay. Millionaires, billionaires, wealthy people, people who are at the highest level of performance in whatever they do will tell you, you cannot afford to make emotional decisions or emotional delays. You cannot afford to make emotional decisions or emotional delays and be successful at the same time. You can't. You can't. You can't. It's not possible. Not as a leader. Now, if you're serving someone else and you have the luxury of taking time off and down, now I'm not saying that downtime is not important, but I'm just saying when you are the one leading a vision, you have to have a plan of emotional wellness, a plan for emotional management. I look at emotions and I used to wonder, I was like, God, is there really something wrong with me? Am I too emotional? Like, you gave me these emotions, you created them. So why are they being labeled as bad or some type of, just random thing that I shouldn't feel? and you're human. But the same way we have a budget for money, and the same way we have management for time, we need strategy for emotion. And if you embark on this entrepreneurial journey without it, you are in trouble. I can't put it any other way. And so that's why communities like this, coaching groups like this, are important for us to be radically honest about where we are so that we can manage finances, time, and emotion for execution. Because those are the excuses we give ourselves to not do something. Think about it, okay? When it is time to deliver, or it is time to finish, or even if it's time to start an idea or something in your business, we'll say, I don't have the money, okay? I'm afraid, I'm scared, I don't have the mental capacity or bandwidth, right? It's either going to be money or emotion. It's money or emotion. I'm telling you, I've been doing this long enough. It's money or emotion. And the two things actually go together. I have done the soul work, okay, where I can sit here and say, I learned, I actually avoided entrepreneurship because of the emotion I felt as a kid when I saw financial failures in my household wrapped around entrepreneurship. When I saw, you know, contracts being lost. And so now we're trying to figure out as a family how to rework things. When I saw that payroll was done, but then we had high turnover, like I felt that. And I didn't realize the impact it had. So now I know what the triggers are when I start to see those things in my own business. So here are the 5 things. I'm going to get right to the nitty gritty here. All right. You might want pen and paper, or you could take a couple of screenshots or whatever, whatever you need to do to get this information. You with me? If you with me, say, I'm with you. Just say, I'm with you. Okay. I'm going to give you 5 things, and I'm going to give them to you. Laid out very quickly and plainly. And this is just on my heart. Like, I dropped the information lately. I saw that what I put about financial resources was pretty popular. But here's the thing, you can apply for all of those funding sources. But if your emotions are not intact and you do not have a financial plan, it doesn't matter. Somebody can come give you $1 million today and it'll be gone tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but it'll be gone real soon. If you do not manage your emotions, your time, and your money. It's just the reality. I've seen it. I've seen it personally. I've seen it in others around me. It is a thing. It is a thing. So, you ready for these 5 things? Say, I'm ready. Say, I'm ready. All right. So, how to navigate emotional triggers in entrepreneurship. Number 1, call out the emotion as it's happening. Call it out, feel the wave. It's like, I call it a wave. And I'll literally, when I pray, when I meditate, I said, okay, I'm in a wave. All right, what wave is this? What wave is coming over me? Just like when you kind of like body surf out in the ocean and you hop the wave. And it's like, if I just lean into the wave, let it wash over me, and I journal. I journal intensely daily, 2-3 times a day. And that is my emotional management tool. For me, it's journaling, it's therapy, and it's an accountability partner, and prayer. Absolutely pray. I pray without ceasing. But journaling is something tangible for me to get the emotion out and identified. I have to call it by name so that I know how to address it and what it's doing. Okay. So I went through that wave today, the wave of fear. Fear is a wave. I call them waves because it can come on suddenly, just like a wave, a ripple. It can wash over you, or it can take you down, or it can lift you up. It can wash over you, it can take you down, or it can lift you up, depending on where you are in the stage of that emotion. For me, it was attempting to take me down. I mean, I was about to spiral real fast. Okay. And because, and I have to, the other thing about calling it out is tie it back to another time you felt that way and what the trigger is, which brings me to the next one, is to identify the trigger. What event, what conversation, what did you see on social media when you were scrolling? What phone conversation did you have that caused you to feel the wave of that feeling. For me, it was tied to the fear of changing my environment again. It was tied to the fear of contracts coming up for expirations. It was tied to the fear of the end of the year, okay? And panicking about, did I reach my goal? What's gonna happen? Can I, preparing things, for the new year. My anxiety tries to come over like a wave. There were things, even, many of part-time, I work there. You have to understand family things. Okay, I have an emotional tie to being a caregiver. You need to have a contingency plan. I have a list of things that trigger me. Okay, and then I have scriptures to read to help me rationalize the emotion. But I have journal prompts to help me write through it. Now, many of you get my journal prompts, and when I send those out to you in my text message community, don't think they're just for you. They're absolutely for me. If you want to get my journal prompts to help you manage or navigate emotional triggers of entrepreneurship, or just keep you, I feel it. I feel, I'm like, hey, I'm praying for Activation Nation. Hey, let me send them some encouragement. Sometimes I don't always do it in this group, the text message group. We intimately share, hey, wow, Melissa, that was right on time. Thank you for sending that message. Thank you for the encouragement. This is what I want to focus on. I'm going to recenter my focus. I'm going to ride this wave. I'm going to get over this. And so you can text activate to this number, 470-202-3329. And I'll make sure I keep this in the group, in the comments. Somebody put that in the comments for me if you can. But yeah, the triggers. It's really important. Okay. This is a part of knowing yourself, because if you don't know what triggers you, you don't know what's stopping you. If you don't know what triggers you, then you're not aware to know what's stopping you. Now, the third one, it's perfectly flowing right into the third one. What does the emotion stop you from doing? Here's mine. I told you, I'm getting on here for me, and you can please share your testimonies in the group. Absolutely. If you want to go live, if you want to put a comment, if you want to share, if you want to put it in here, whatever it is. I want this to be a place of transparency. It's safe, it's private, it's like that for a reason. Okay. The emotion for me has stopped me, like fear has stopped me from taking major business opportunities that I was more than qualified for. It has stopped me from either saving money or spending money, depending on the circumstance. Okay. It has stopped me from cutting off things that no longer serve me, because I'm too emotionally invested in the person, the thing, the place. There's some clients where in the past I've gotten too emotionally vested, and it's like, this is no longer a good relationship. It's not reciprocal. You're not coachable or doing the work. I'm not enjoying the process. We need to address it. And that's not an easy conversation to have. Some of us are withholding the conversation because we have an emotion. We're scared. We're tense. We're mad. We're sad. I don't know why she was talking to me like that. We get offended. Some of us are taking offenses in our business with potential business partners, team members, family members, loved ones, when it really could be solved with a simple conversation. What does the emotion stop you from doing? So here's the thing. My emotions, okay, this is why I preach. And I say preach because I have been screaming from the mountaintops about the activation money map. Why? Because every time emotions try to derail, my emotions are distractions. Distractions derail. So when the distractions of emotions try to derail me from my goals each week, each month, each quarter, I have to go back to my money map. That's my compass. It is specifically designed to keep you from tossing and getting caught in the wave and anchor you in the plan. It is designed that way, but you have to be willing. I used to keep my money map in a binder on a shelf. Now I have totally pulled it out. I keep that binder open and I'm looking at it daily, so that I'm rooted in what I need to focus on. Okay. You need to know what is it. There have been times when, like, if you look at my podcast history, at my show history, there have been times I start, stop, start, stop. There have been times I've been consistent and then I start up again. And in those moments, it was because maybe I was in a bad relationship situation. Maybe I didn't like my weight that time and I didn't want to go live, or I didn't like my hair, or I just flat out didn't feel like doing it. Strike it up. But one thing I can say, and I've watched many of you, your business does not care how you feel. It only cares that you finish. Your business does not care how you feel. It only cares that you finish. The vision is not, it knows no emotion. It knows execution. Okay? It comes to be completed. And anything in the way of completion is a distraction, and it's an enemy to your vision. So has your emotion become your enemy? Or has it become a radar, a warning signal? Some of us ignore the warning signals. It's like ignoring the gas light in your car. You're going to run out of gas and be on the side of the road soon because you didn't stop. Check the gas tank, check the engine light, check the oil. Something's off. Your emotions are there to tell you something's really, really good or something's really, really off. Pay attention. All right. I know. I can teach. I've lived it, so I can tell it. I can teach it. This has been a 5-year journey of emotional regulation. For me, entrepreneurship has held up a mirror to every emotion that is blocking me from the life I want. It has held up a mirror to show me how I have sabotaged areas, that I should have fully shown up, regardless of the circumstance. Okay. There are people out there winning, not because they're better than you, they're just more disciplined in their emotions than you. Oh, I said it. I said it. I said it. They are disciplined in their time, money, and emotions. They're not more talented, they're just more disciplined. Whew. That's a lot to unpack. I'm gonna need y'all to talk back to me. I want y'all all right. Y'all all right. Yeah, yeah. The fourth one. How does the emotion actually help you? If your body, your psyche, your mind, your spirit has shown you you're afraid, have you sat long enough to dissect it and say, wait, is this fear an actual discernment or a caution light to say, wait, no, 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 no. Don't go that way. Is the anxiety really letting you know, wait, wait, wait. Maybe you need to prepare some more. Ask it. You haven't sat with the emotion long enough to see what it's trying to tell you. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I'm calling this out in the hopes that it is conquered and dealt with, and that we have a strategy to navigate the triggers of emotions and entrepreneurship. You ready for the last one? I know this a lot, y'all. You might have to watch. You might have to come back and listen to this 2 or 3 times, and just maybe you deal with one of these a day or something. It took me 5 years to finally come out and have this conversation. So it's necessary. Okay. The last one. Be accountable to someone. I was talking to a member of the group today who's absolutely held me accountable, and I likewise have held them accountable, a fellow coach. And they allowed me a moment of vulnerability and transparency, which is one of our 5 commitments in this group, transparency. And it was in that transparency that I allowed myself to say, I am not okay. But I also, in the accountability, have been able to ward off depressive mood swings that entrepreneurs can tend to have, because I now have a support system to lean on. Okay. The other thing is everybody needs accountability. Too many of us are suffering in silence. That's what coaching is all about. Okay. It's about holding us accountable to do what we could not, would not, or did not know how to do on our own. Okay. What we could not do on our own. And for some of you, you need to admit that to yourself. Hey, I am not equipped to execute this on my own. And it is not a sign of failure. It is not a weakness. It is not showing that you're incapable. It just shows that there's an opportunity for someone to partner and come alongside you and hold you accountable, and, or to execute or to support you, whatever their role. But it's really important that we apply these 5 things. Call it out. What triggers the emotion? How does it hinder or stop you? How does it help you? And hey, come to the group with these things, because that's what we're here for. When you're scared to go live, like, hey, I'm having a rough one. I just can't hit that record button. I can't hit that live button today. There are days that I've pre-recorded because I know I'm not where I want to be, but boy, I'm not going to give up and stop myself from being where I want to be. Okay. So I hope this helped you to manage your emotions. And if you want more to keep you going and activated, it's more than a saying. It is deeper. And so there's some things people, you guys text me things that are personal that you may not put in this group. Hey, Coach Mel, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm not your therapist. That's my disclaimer now. I'm not qualified to be your therapist, but what I am qualified to do is to coach you through it. That I can do. Okay. And to bring you back, to reel you back into shore and say, hey, where's your money map? Hey, who's your accountability partner in the group? Hey, what's the thing you really need to think about? Because fear will rob you of your focus for where you need to be today. Absolutely will. Sadness will steal the joy that you're supposed to have in this entrepreneurial journey. So if you want to be more in tune and connected throughout the day, and you want some of these journal prompts I'm talking about and these tools, text activate to 470-202-3329. Okay. And we're in this together. Manage your emotions so that you can manage your money in your time. Don't let your emotions take over your time and be wasteful with your money because you have not anchored and dealt with them. Learn from my mistakes, be better than me, and stay activated. So stay tuned, stay connected. There's lots of great things in store. I'm going to be actually reaching out to many of you. If you want to go live in the group and you want to activate, if you have an activation message for what you do, I want to hear from you. I want some community contributors to come on in and share their tools of either team building, accountability, mentorship, leadership, whatever your thing is. The stage is yours. Send me a DM and let's get you in the group to activate too. I'll see you on the next one, family.